Good morning. This music is so funky. It is funky because we're going to do kind of a horror story today. And it's a funky story. It's a horror story with a happy ending. My name's Sue. I'm an alcoholic. My name's Liam. I'm a drug addict. I drank and used for 25 years. I've been clean for 18 and in recovery. That was my stinking phone interrupting me. If you like anything we're doing today, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified about upcoming content, hit the bell button. Okay, it's story time. Once upon a time, there was a happy baby. And this super happy baby grew up into an all-American little girl who went away to church camp and made crafts and sold cookies for the Girl Scouts. And you're already boring me with this format. Get on with it already. Okay, fast forward. I think I was in high school, probably 16. I've got foggy memories of all this. I actually got the story secondhand because this is the first of what was a series of blackouts in my drinking career. Apparently, I drank a whole lot of cherry vodka for breakfast one day before school. That sounds really smart, Sue. Yeah, the even smarter thing was I chased it with a box of Girl Scout cookies. Oh my gosh. What flavor? Thin Mints. Girl Scout Thin Mints. Oh yeah, that's a good combo. Black chocolate and red liquor. Go on. Okay, so I had my power breakfast. I showed up at my first period. I think it was a history class. I had an extended conversation with my teacher before the class about how awesome Girl Scout cookies were and how they made a great breakfast and how much I appreciated him letting me eat them during his class. Why were you blathering on and on to a teacher before school? Because alcohol was a social lubricant for me, and it put me on the same level with every grown-ups, cool kids, dorky kids. I just felt like I was one with everyone, and nobody was any better than me. I was smart and funny and sharp, and I'm just going to tell you whatever I want to tell you. So I had my little chit-chat with the teacher, and then I went to my desk, and I passed out and did my first exorcist move and blew up Thin Mint cookies and cherry vodka all over my desk, the floor. Oh, how freaking disgusting. Oh my gosh, that had to stink to high heaven. Anyway, I was supposedly escorted to the office by a classmate where they called my mom, who was called away from work to come to school to pick me up and take me home. So we've got some lost wages right on the front, on top of property damage, on top of illegal behavior, and I have no idea where I got this out. Anyway, get home, came to long enough to remember one portion of the story very vividly. I was reclined on the couch. My mother was standing in front of me. I was giving her some BS story about my upset stomach, and then my stomach unloaded like a fire hose straight onto the front of her shirt. Like in the Exorcist movie, but worse, because it wasn't just pea soup. It was that black, red, stainy syrup that I'm sure ruined her clothes, ruined carpet. That's like the perfect storm, but worse, because she was spewing toxic waste everywhere. Exactly. I remember her just looking down at the puke on her shirt and saying, "Oh, Sue." And then I blacked out. I don't remember ever helping clean any of that up. I don't remember ever helping clean anything up at school. And I don't remember us ever talking about it the next day. Why wouldn't she bring it up? Didn't she get punished? I don't remember any kind of punishment. I think we both just tried to make it go away by ignoring it. And I can only imagine what went through her mind, probably a series of images of her perfect little baby back to back to back, and then boom, exorcist. Drinking in the morning. I was only 16. How bad do you have to be? And I'd only started drinking 2 or 3 years before that, so I was full blown already if I'm doing blackout drinking. But that was when you came to your senses, right? You learned your lesson, didn't you? That was your bottom? Oh no, not even close. That was not my bottom. I did learn one lesson. Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies are evil, and I didn't eat them again for like 20 years. What about the cherry vodka? Oh no, there couldn't be anything wrong with my magic liquor. That was not the problem. It had to be the cookies. So I continued to drink. My mom and I, we just didn't know anything about addiction or how it works or that the kids could even be alcoholic. So we went along our merry way, and by merry I mean it got worse and worse over the course of the next couple years. I did not hit my bottom still, but she hit her bottom with it about 2 years later during another blackout event, one that was even worse. Again, I'm getting all of this secondhand from the friends. The friends got sick of babysitting me. I'd probably puked in one of their cars or something. I don't know. They packed me home, and my mom opened the door, and I blurted right in her face with my drunk blackout self, "I can't see my fudging mom." You didn't say fudging mom. No, I didn't. And then they dragged me down to my bedroom where I passed out. The next day I got up while my mom was at work and went to the beach and pounded beers on top of that blackout. I don't think I had even come down. When I came home from the beach that day, I passed out on the living room floor where she found me when she came home from work, and she did everything trying to make me come to, slapping my face, pouring water on my face. Nothing. So she stared in fear at me for the next 10 or 15 hours, and when I came to, she had already had her epiphany and called me out with an ultimatum. "Sue, you have a problem. You have to get help or get out." Oh my gosh, what did you do? I didn't know anything about how to get help, and I didn't want to get out. So I just told her, "It's not a problem. I'll just quit. I'm sorry. I will quit drinking." And I did. For 3 months, I didn't have anything to drink. And I had already dropped out of high school, but I went back and got my GED. My father, who lived halfway across the country, enrolled me in a community college so I could get some kind of credits that would qualify me to get into a 4-year university. So what happened then? I went to Virginia to start community college, where in under a month, I found other people who drank like me and partied like me, and I picked up right where I left off, but it was worse because the disease just keeps on spinning in the background whether you're drinking or not. And in under a year, my dad and my bonus mom, is that the mom that came to visit you last week from Virginia? Yeah, I should qualify that really quick. The mom that came to visit me last week was not my belly button mom, but my bonus mom, my dad's wife. This mom that I did the cussing in her face and that I puked all over her and that I peed all over the floor. I forgot that blackout. I was in urine for quite a while on her living room floor. That is so freaking disgusting. So I found people who used like me when I got to Virginia, and in under a year, they were calling me out for my out-of-control drinking, and I did the same thing with them. I'll quit. I don't have to drink. I can quit. And I did. And for a few months, I was sober, living with them and finishing up at the community college. Then I took my shit show on the road and went away to college, where I tormented 4 college roommates for the next 3 years. Falling out of the top of bunk beds and peeing in our room and puking in our room, and it was just more of the same. That first story, I thought that was the worst that it could get, and it sounds like it just got worse and worse. Oh, that first story could have been worse. First story didn't include any drunk driving yet. It didn't include any puke inside a car yet. Only got sick from one end yet. There were no cops involved in that story yet. A lot of yets in the alcoholic life, for me anyway. My story is not unique. Most of the people in recovery that I hang out with started out as teenagers like I did. And I just read something recently where 1 in 4 high school kids has, beyond just the experimenting that we know a lot of kids do, 1 in 4 supposedly is having an addiction problem already, which is probably a legitimate number. So what's the point? Why are you even sharing all this? There's 2 good things in this. First of all, if my mom and I had more information, maybe I could have gotten recovery sooner. If we had known anything about recovery options or what addiction is or how it works, maybe we would have been able to take a different path. So We're going to share this information in hopes that if you are a teenager struggling with drug or alcohol abuse, you might survive to start your life again in your 40s like I did. But that means that you miss out on a few decades in the interim. Why not get your life started quicker? There are alternatives. There are recovery options. There are treatment centers, inpatient, outpatient. I would recommend that you read the first 164 pages of the Alcoholics Anonymous book. If you're the parent and you're concerned that maybe your kid has a drug or alcohol problem, if you think maybe they do, then you've already come a long way past denial, which means that they probably do. Worst case scenario, do some research and find out for sure, because they may have a happy ending story like mine, and I'm going to give you the upside of what happened with mine, but no one wants their kid to have to go through all that. No family should have to go through all that. What happened, I eventually did get recovery, but it was over 20 years after that disgusting story, and there was a lot of disgusting that happened between that story and now. I was able to make amends for those events. I still owe a lot of amends. Property damage, the emotional damage, the inconveniences, endangering other people on the roads or in the public at large. The best I can do with that is make a living amends, and that is to live my best life now, bring the best that I have, 110% on every day, do the best I can, one day at a time. Service work and trying to pay it forward and give it back. If you're the parent, the kid doesn't know what to do about it. Maybe you don't know what to do about it either, but a wealth of resources out there. Counseling, inpatient rehab, outpatient rehab. I don't know how any of that jives with your health insurance, if you even have any health insurance. Support groups like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, those are free, so that's one place that you might go to start getting some help. I'm not taking my teenager to go hang out with a bunch of grown-up alcoholics and drug addicts. Are you freaking kidding me? I wouldn't dump them off at an AA meeting or an NA meeting, but there are open meetings, which means anybody can come. You don't have to be someone trying to get in recovery. And I think if I was a parent, I would maybe take my kid to an open meeting so we could both learn about it together. It's very unconditional. It's just people sharing their experience, strength, and hope. And maybe you can hook up with someone with similar experience and learn a little bit more about how addiction works and how recovery works. Long story longer. That story represents the mess and the chaos and how it gets all over everybody. Property damage and hurt feelings and emotional scarring, and why I kept drinking for another 20 years, because that is horrific. Big fat silver spoon hanging out of my mouth. Another thing that made my drinking feel so shamey and evil, and something that I had to repress with more drinking, because I just felt so guilty and ashamed. Because what is your excuse for drinking like this? You have everything you need and you were spoiled and showered with gifts as a small child. What is your excuse? The only reason was you were a freaking alcoholic. That's the reason. That's exactly the reason. Like all those times that I quit, I probably quit 100 times. I just could never stay quit. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, it looks like I've got the whole Picasso eye thing going on again today. Well, quit looking at yourself and look at the camera. It's a good idea. The last couple years, I didn't want to drink, but I couldn't not drink. I did not know how to not drink. I was stuck on that wheel. And I was emotionally bankrupt, and I could feel my life crumbling around me, and I just felt powerless to do anything about it. The good news is, on the other side, it is possible to get recovery, even if you started out as long ago with the drinking and using as I did. There's still hope that you can recover and start having a fulfilling life. But I'm hopeful, if you are a young person or you are the parent of a young person, that you can get that recovery earlier so that you don't miss out on decades of your life and then have to piece it together with a charcoal briquette of a memory. Thanks for coming. Appreciate your time. I hope that helped a little bit. Hold me, Sue. Thanks for coming.